Okay, so I'd say the second day of seriously being able to actually have a bit of crack of prototyping, it's one of those things where sometimes you get stuck on how best to do things. And I realized I'd got myself into a bit of a pickle in that I was putting, don't know whether you can see this rotary encoder, I was facing it inwards, which it definitely has some benefits, but it was creating more problems than benefits. So I realized that by spinning it round, it was a bit more counterintuitive, but it meant that essentially I end up having a better build. So this is where I got to with this, and then this drum is going to house the wiper. And today has really just been about finalizing those sorts of 3D prints. And so what's interesting actually here is that I've ended up creating a bit of a hybrid in that this is printed on a small, quite accurate little printer here for small parts. And then I've realized the big printer is, it's not that it's really only good for big things like this sort of yoke going down the side, which will eventually fit here. But it's more that this thing is pretty incredible for basically 200 quid, $200, but the bit you pay for secondly is basically all the calibration. So I have not spent the necessary 50 hours tweaking and tuning it. So I'm basically going to use it to blitz through the big pieces like this yoke, and then all the fiddly engineering bits I'll end up doing with that. But then I'd also thought I'd mention these little cool things which you can get from RS, which are the brass inserts. And I kind of swear by these ever since I was wearing at Dyson, as really they make the difference between pushing stuff together with friction or glue and then realizing it didn't quite work out and then going, now what? So I always try and screw or bolt things together so that I can take apart and modify them. And that by far has been one of the best things I think I've ever learned in industry, is always assume you're going to have to take stuff apart again and accept that graciously. It definitely saves you time in the long run, making details like that. So there we have it. Day 2 of prototyping.